What happens when you mix 1,000 bottles of baby oil, GHB-laced lube, and a multi-day sex circus? You don't get a spa night, you get a criminal enterprise. In this video, we unravel how Sean Diddy Combs turned an innocent skincare staple into a weapon of control, fueling freak-offs, coerced women, and a sprawling racketeering case. From courtroom receipts to bombshell testimonies, we'll show you why those bottles weren't for babies, and how they became Exhibit A in one of Hollywood's darkest scandals. Everyone knew Diddy threw wild parties, but nobody guessed why there were so many bottles of baby oil in his home. When agents raided his houses in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York in March 2024, they found more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant locked away. Why? Because those bottles were part of his freak-off supplies, a disturbing setup for nights of forced, drug-fueled encounters with escorts and women pressured to join. The indictment calls these freak-offs extremely elaborate sex performances that sometimes lasted 1 to 2 days straight. An ocean of oil. Imagine opening closet doors and seeing aisle after aisle of baby oil, rows upon rows, each bottle glistening under dim light. That's exactly what federal agents saw when they searched Diddy's residences. They counted more than 1,000 bottles, an amount so strange that his lawyer claimed he bought in bulk because he lived near a Costco, which later denied ever selling baby oil in bulk. At first glance, baby oil seems harmless, meant for babies or dry skin. But in Diddy's world, it was a tool. Women who testified said he used these oils and lubricants in hotel nights, where he invited male escorts and models to join him and his girlfriends. He would smear oil on everyone, turning bodies into slippery canvases for exploitative acts. Jane's bombshell testimony. Under the alias Jane, an influencer testified at the federal trial in June 2025 that her first hotel night with Diddy felt like passion. But soon, it became toxic. She arrived dressed to impress, only to be ushered into a suite littered with pill bottles, booze, and dozens of baby oil bottles. 24 in one evening alone, she said, used to keep bodies slick when rough encounters went on for 24 to 30 hours straight. She felt trapped. If she refused, her monthly $10,000 rent check would vanish. Jane described this oil as part of a bigger method. He wanted us so slippery that no one could dodge his grips. She said, it wasn't about pleasure. It was about control. Prosecutors argued that supplying baby oil in such massive quantities points directly to his plan to use lubrication for forced, rigid sex that bordered on torture. GHB in the oil? A shocking twist came in October 2023 when Newsweek reported that at least one lawsuit alleged Diddy's baby oil was laced with GHB or rohypnol, date-rape drugs that can be absorbed through the skin or slipped into drinks. A Jane Doe claimed he saw Diddy order bottles of oil tainted with GHB and keep them for non-consensual acts. This suit said the oil made women blackout, leaving them helpless during abuse. If true, that turns baby oil from a simple lubricant to a weapon. Women went to parties thinking they were safe, just a fun night. Instead, they were doused in slippery oil that could hide a dangerous drug. The lawsuit even included a photo of a container Diddy's team allegedly used to mix GHB into drinks at his events. Prosecutors haven't confirmed the GHB claims, but the possibility sent chills through the courtroom. Why over 1,000 bottles? Federal agents questioned Diddy at Opa-locka Airport on March 25, 2024, before searching his homes. They confiscated computers, guns, drugs, and the baby oil stockpile. Investigators noted that 1,000 bottles of baby oil couldn't be for normal use. They asked, who needs that much? His lawyer said, he lives near a wholesale store. He buys in bulk. But Costco denied selling baby oil, and no receipt proved Diddy bought that many. Investigators tracked the oil back to multiple trips to beauty supply shops and online orders over years, sometimes hundreds of bottles at a time. Evidence of freak-off rituals. Various women's testimonies pieced together the role of baby oil in his routines. One told the court how Diddy would order a fresh set of baby oil bottles days before a freak-off night. He'd roll in with a case of pills, Xanax, ecstasy, GHB, and spread oil on the bed, the floors, even on walls, making it slick from the jump. He watched as models and escorts applied oil to their bodies, turning them into nearly naked, glossy shells. Another witness, a former record label intern, said she stumbled on a storage room stocked with baby oil next to closets filled with condoms and rolls of skin-tight bodysuits. She said, it was like a torture chamber, oil everywhere. She fled before being discovered, but she contacted police after seeing headlines in 2024. Then came a bizarre live interview where a lawyer for Diddy waved a single bottle on camera, saying, "See? It's just baby oil." Viewers scoffed. No single bottle could answer why federal agents found 1,000 in locked closets. The judge flagged this as laughable in court, calling it an attempt. One invoice showed 240 bottles shipped to his Miami mansion on March 10, 2023, just days before a famous hotel night that ended with 3 escorts testifying about coerced group sex and non-stop oil application. Another log showed 300 bottles delivered to his Los Angeles home in January 2024, matching a string of text messages where he ordered restock on lube. ASAP. The women's stories, 3 women, Cassie Ventura, Jane, and a third witness known as Cara, described similar scenes. Cassie said that during a June 2015 party, she overheard Diddy telling a butler to bring as much oil as you can carry. She found bodybuilders and models anointed head to toe, writhing on a bed slick enough to slide off. She was 8 months pregnant but still forced to join. She nearly slipped off the mattress when Diddy shoved her. Jane said that by 2021, it went from a look at my fame event to a horror show. She fussed about feeling sick, but he threatened to cut her rent. She cried in a bathroom stall as she rubbed oil on her body, wishing someone would help. She felt like a prisoner in paradise. Cara, a former dancer, testified she heard men on the fire escape talking about how Diddy would make her slippery before any rough encounter. She said he'd laugh as she slid off a couch. It was like watching someone drown. The prosecutor's argument: prosecutors painted a vivid picture. Diddy ran a criminal enterprise under the cover of glitzy Hollywood. The baby oil was not a joke. It was evidence of calculated, long-term abuse. They argued he groomed, coerced, and then lubricated women to exploit them. They connected this oil to racketeering charges, saying he used threats, money, and drugs to keep victims under control. In court, a prosecutor said, "This isn't a cosmetic collection. This is a toolkit for sexual violence." Every bottle held a purpose: to make escape slippery, to hide bruises under sheen, and to blur the line between fun and forced. Each shipment of baby oil was another brick in his house of horrors. The defense's response: Diddy's lawyers called the women's claims embellished and out of context. They said he had a wide circle of friends who used baby oil for workouts, massages, and skincare. They argued that purchasing in bulk was a cost-saving measure for his entire household. They also highlighted inconsistencies. They noted that one order to his LA home overlapped with the time he claimed to be on tour in Europe. They suggested invoices could be fake or manipulated. But prosecutors countered. Shipping records, tracking numbers, and witness bank statements proved the oil arrived at his homes, time and again. Social media and public reaction. When word got out about 1,000 bottles of baby oil, social media exploded. Memes popped up: oil slick on a mansion roof, baby oil fountains, and jokes about Diddy opening a baby oil factory. But behind the jokes was disgust. Fans of his music felt betrayed. Commenters on TikTok and X wondered, why do you need that much? What was he hiding? Tweets like baby oil doesn't grow on trees trended for days. Celebrities weighed in. A-list actors who once partied with Diddy said they never saw anything that shocking. Some defended him as a generous host. Others spoke for the first time about seeing women slip off couches or hearing strange whispers of abuse. A few said they'd received anonymous tips to leave his parties early because things got weird. The fallout: once the baby oil story broke, brands began distancing themselves. Fashion labels paused collaborations. Nobu and other restaurants canceled his reservations. Promoters removed him from festival lineups. The laughter and shock faded into fear and outrage. Sponsors didn't want their names linked to a man now labeled as running a sexual criminal enterprise like a mafia boss with baby oil. In June 2025, jurors asked to watch footage of baby oil evidence. They saw photos of closets stacked with bottles. They saw receipts and spreadsheets listing each shipment. They heard women describe how the oil made it impossible to resist. The judge paused at one photo: 2 neatly stacked pallets of baby oil in a garage corner, like innocent groceries. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. Beyond the bottles, the baby oil was just part of the whole puzzle. Agents also found GHB, ketamine, and ecstasy, drugs prosecutors say he used to incapacitate victims. They found 3 AR-15 rifles hidden alongside those oils, showing that Diddy didn't just want control in a bedroom, he wanted domination outside it too. Witnesses said if they tried to refuse a freak-off, they'd be threatened with leaked videos, eviction, or physical harm. The baby oil made sure their clothes slipped off, making resistance nearly impossible. One woman showed photos of her bruises, slick with oil, as if she tried to wash them off and couldn't. The lasting impact: the baby oil revelations didn't just shock people, they changed the conversation about consent and power. Experts said that using lubrication to facilitate forced sex is a coercive tactic. They compared it to using a weapon. Oil reduces friction, makes injuries more likely, and leaves victims feeling helpless and violated. After the trial, domestic violence hotlines reported a surge in calls from women who recognized similar signs in their lives. Movements formed online, #KnowYourOil and #FreakOffAlert, hashtags warning others to spot warning signs of forced lubrication, drug use, and coercion. Support groups held meetings to help victims come forward, saying, if 1 out of 1,000 bottles can help someone escape, we need to talk about it. More than 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Each one a silent witness tonight of pain, coercion, and abuse. What looks like a harmless skincare product became a tool in Diddy's criminal enterprise, part of a pattern prosecutors likened to racketeering. Those bottles told jurors everything they needed to know. This wasn't a mistake, a misunderstanding, or a rumor. It was a methodical plan. When the jury delivered its verdict in June 2025, the baby oil evidence weighed heavily. They saw that each bottle was another brick in his empire of exploitation. And as Diddy's fame crumbled, the message was clear: no matter how many luxuries you buy, you can't buy your way out of justice.